Happy Monday, third grade. I hope you had a great weekend. All right, well, first things first. I have a question for you today. It's not a random question, it's an intentional question, a purposeful question for you. Do you have this item in your home? What is that? It's a measuring cup. I have two of those in my home. What about you? Yeah? Um, Now, do you remember having this item in your classroom with Miss Morris? Have you seen something like that? That is called a graduated cylinder. This week, we will be learning how to measure liquids. Now, let's remember this measuring cup you might have in your kitchen somewhere. And usually, when I cook, I will use the measurements on this side over here that says cups, like 2 cups, 1 cup, half a cup, okay? But for our study for this week, we're not going to use cups. We're going to use measurements on this side of the cup right there, okay? And um, we're going to learn what ml stands for, all right? And what 1000 ml is equal to, okay? All right, let's continue. So we're going to use liters and milliliters to measure volume and capacity. Let's look at this example. Um, I'm gonna just increase my video screen just a tad. Okay. So we have this student and he has a pitcher filled with water and he wants to know, what is how much water is actually in my pitcher. I want to measure the exact amount. So he's pouring it inside this measuring cup, and when he does so, it actually fills all the way to here, the 1L mark. Okay, L means liters, and the ml means milliliters. And 1 liter is equal to 1000 milliliters. It's kind of similar when we were learning about kilograms, right? Or kilometers, right? 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meters. Kilogram is equal to 1000 grams. And for this week, for the unit of measurement in liquids, we are talking about 1 liter is equal to 1000 milliliters. Okay? And because we know this pitcher was filled to the top and we see, how much water there was in that pitcher, we say that the capacity of that jug or pitcher is 1 liter. Capacity means what is the maximum amount of liquid that can fill up the container, the maximum amount. Whether it's filled all the way to the top or not, what is the maximum amount? That's the definition of capacity. All right, let's look at another example. What's the capacity of this? I'm going to call this a test tube. Okay, what's the capacity? If you said 10 milliliters, you're right because it's filled all the way to the top at 10 milliliters. So the capacity of this test tube is 10 milliliters. All right, yet another example. Listen to my question carefully. What is the capacity of this graduated cylinder? The capacity. The capacity is actually up to here. It's up to 1 liter. Okay, that's the capacity. You see how the liquid that they put in this graduated cylinder only comes up to here. Okay, that's not the capacity. That's the volume. Volume is the amount of liquid in a container but the capacity is the maximum amount the container can hold. Okay, so the capacity of this graduated cylinder is 1 liter. The volume in this graduated cylinder of water is 10 milliliters. So to summarize, 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters, and we can denote liter as a capital L, and we can denote milliliter as ml, where m is lowercase and L is capitalized. Okay, so this is how we denote milliliters. The capitalization and lowercase matter. Okay, so just be careful when you write the units down in your answers. Okay, also capacity is the amount of liquid a container can hold, the maximum amount of liquid a container can hold, while the volume is the amount of liquid inside the container itself. Okay, all right, so now we're going to use measuring cups to measure the volume of water. So let's take a look here. How much water is inside this measuring cup? Well, I see that it hits this mark here, which is 100 milliliters. But now I have a new question. What does one marking over here represent? There's one marking here, another marking, another marking, another marking, another marking. If I count all the markings, okay, like all the spaces in between up to, that goes to 100, there's 10 markings, okay? So I see that 10 times something will get me 100, okay? So 10 times something will get me 100. Can you figure what this is? Okay, it's actually 10 times 10 gets you 100. So one marking is equal to 10 milliliters. All right, let's look at another example. Okay, so in here, so this measuring cup goes from 0 all the way to 500 milliliters. The capacity is 500 milliliters. The volume of this water is 400 milliliters because I see that the water is filled up all the way to the 400 milliliter line. My question now is, how much is one marking? Let's count. Okay, so from all the way to the bottom of the measuring cup is 0. Then here's, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So then there's 10 markings, okay, between the bottom of the cup all the way to 500 milliliters, okay. But the thing is, so I see something a little bit easier for me. I'm going to look at the 100 milliliters, okay. The 100 milliliter is right here, and it's at the second marking, right? So from the bottom of the cup all the way to 100, how many markings are there? 1, 2. Okay. So now I can see, well, okay, 2 times what gets me 100? Oh, it's 2 times 50 gets me 100, right? Double 50 gets me 100, or you can think about this as 50 plus 50 gets me 100. So one marking in this example is 50 milliliters, sorry. 50 milliliters, because we're talking about liquid, aren't we? Okay. All right. And one more example. Okay, let's look at this one. Well, the capacity of this measuring cup is 1 liter because it looks like the maximum amount of liquid it could hold is 1 liter. Now, the volume in here, well, it goes past 500 milliliters, and I have to see where this is here, what that is. Okay, so it's between 500 milliliters and 1 liter. And I remember that 1 liter is actually 1,000 liters, okay? And when I count from the bottom of my measuring cup all the way to the top here of 1 liter, and I count the number of markings there are, there's 10. Okay, so 10 times what gets you 1,000? Okay. This is something we practiced last week, isn't it? Okay, it's 10 times 100 gets you 1,000. So one marking is equal to 100 milliliters. Okay, so let's count by 100s. Okay, so we'll start at 500 because that's marked for us over here. So it's 500, 600, 700. Oh, so the volume of the water is 700 milliliters. The capacity of this measuring cup is 1 liter or 1,000 milliliters. I put liters, but that should be milliliters, okay? Sorry. And then one marking is equal to 100 milliliters. Okay. All right. Okay, so please pause the video and then do guided practice numbers 1 through 4 on your own. And when you're ready, please play the video. Hi, welcome back. All right, let's take a look over here. So with this measuring cup, I see that the capacity is 1,000 milliliters, not liters. I'm sorry about that. That's a typo, okay? And from the bottom of the measuring cup all the way to the top here of 1,000, there's 10 markings. So if I remember correctly, wow, okay, 10 times 100 is 1,000. So one marking is 100 milliliter. So I'm going to count. I'm going to start here 500 and then I have to go all the way here, and which is 600 milliliters. Sweet. And let's take a look over here. Okay, over here, oh, it's just easy peasy because I see that the water level is hitting right at the 250 milliliter mark. So I don't really need to, figure out what each marking is. In this case, I can just know that the volume of the water is 250 milliliters. Okay. Let's get number 3. Number 3, when I take a look, well, first I have to see, is it hitting 50 milliliters? No, it's less than 50 when I take a look at it. Okay, so the arrow for this one is hitting kind of like at the 1, 2, third tick mark there, okay, or the third marking. And between, when I count from the bottom of the cup all the way to 100 milliliters to see how many markings there are, there's 10. And if you remember, 10 times 10 is 100, so one marking is 10 milliliters. Okay? So we're going to the third marking from the bottom of the cup, and let's count by tens. Ready? 10, 20, 30, so that is 30 milliliters. And let's look at number 4. The number 4, it looks like the water level reaches that second marking over there. And this measuring cup is the same as that measuring cup. Okay, and so I know that one of the markings is equal to 10 milliliters, so let's count by tens. Ready? 10, 20, we're done. So it's 20 milliliters. All right, good work, good thinking. Okay, now we're going to measure capacity. Okay, let's look at this example. A water jug is completely filled with water. The water is emptied into measuring cups. Okay, so we're going to find out the capacity of the water jug. What is the capacity of the water jug? Well, let's see. It looks like this measuring cup is 1 liter. This measuring cup hits at the 400 milliliter mark. So the water jug has a capacity of 1 liter and 400 milliliters. All right, you know what to do. Pause the video and I'll see you soon. Hi again. All right, so we're going to find the capacity of the water that was inside this bucket. And they poured it into these measuring cups here. So immediately I'm going to figure out how much water is in each measuring cup. So that one has 1 liter. here. This next one has 500 milliliters, okay. This next one here has 100 milliliters. Okay. This one here, it has 20 milliliters because again, when I come from 0 to 100, there's 10 markings. Each marking is 10, and then it hits the second marking. So it's 20 milliliters, 10, 20, okay? 20 milliliters. And so now my answer, it has to be in liters and milliliters. I know my liters answer, but what about milliliters? What about here? I need to find the sum. Okay? And then, so to find the sum, I'm going to add 500 plus 100 plus 220. So add the ones first, 0, 0, 0, that's 0. Add the 10, 0, 0, and 2 make 2. Add the hundreds, 5 and 1 make 6. Okay? So the answer for milliliters is 620 milliliters, and then there's also 1 liter. So here's your final answer, 1 liter and 620 milliliters. All right, well, that's all for today, and I will see you tomorrow in Video Land. All right, bye. Have a good day.